I nearly lost my life. Yeah, they could have come back and shot me. I never really looked on it that way, but I don't know. I made that decision to be in this. Do you know what I mean? And that wasn't enough to deter me. Maybe if I'd have got shot, who knows? I don't know. You know, a lot of these things that we got involved in, we weren't like with bad people or we were criminals or evil guys. Half of it was because of, you know, the time, in my time, it was different, innit? You know, you came out your door and it's like, you got hopping off the porch, literally. As soon as you leave your door, you know, your parents probably wouldn't know what was happening. It's like, you know, it's just, I just want things to change, innit?
Cold days, dark nights, call it grafter's paradise. Eyes attracted to the lights, but all that glitters holds a price. Flashback to my teens, the road's a roll of a dice. False move, legal rooms, chatting parole advice. New millennium, nah, I missed it. 2010, nah, I missed it. 15, I came home with the same head, but can't risk it. Wisdom got me moving over the system, we can't fix it. Man, them sitting doing tariffs in some out-of-town districts. Shakur, state of mind, I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Most stories rags to riches, stop at comfort, I want luxury. If hunger was contagious, I'd bring famine to this country. If pain can switch to strength, then you don't want to try.
Like 2 years ago, before COVID and that, well, before that actually, I've always liked media production in it, but obviously when I was doing it, I got locked up. So what happened was when I come out of jail, I got involved with because of part of probation, I got involved with all that to do like a music production or do something positive and that. And obviously I liked it because it was filming and that, so obviously I stayed with it. But yeah, this time round I was more resonant. But I don't know, probably because of what happened with Cherry and a lot of these kids getting killed and that. It's like if no one else is going to do it, then who else is going to do it?
Just my name. Right. Okay, me a minor.
My real name, I want to Killer.
Yeah.
My name is Richard Mackenzie. Everybody knows me as Richie.
My name is David Ashbury, or better known as G-Rock.
Frank God.
Leon Grant.
My name's Dwayne Bellamy.
Neville Thompson. I grew up originally in Russia, but I started hanging around my side when I was about, say, 15, 16.
Lived in Moss Side all my life up to about 10 years ago. Yeah, since I was born in Moss Side. Yeah, and I'm in my 40s now, so 30 odd years I lived in Moss Side.
I actually grew up, lived in Middleton. I was adopted from pretty much from birth. So even though I've got family connections and connections to the Moss Side area, I didn't actually grow up here, so I didn't come back probably till early teens. I think for me, it was very different because obviously with me growing up in a predominantly white area, I was already like identity crisis kind of thing, looking for people that I could identify with.
When I just came to Moss Side, because I'm coming from Jamaica, so it was totally different. So I couldn't really judge it so much when I just come because it was just a different experience from Jamaica totally. So whatever was going on here, I think is just normal throughout England because this is where you just come, you don't know nothing else. And that's like.
Yes. I came to England when I was 22.
What year was that?
1957. Straight to Manchester, was that? Yeah. Princess Road. All them lovely buildings, lovely shops. Could get a good suit. You could get everything from there, mostly in East.
As a community growing up, I remember it being very close-knit and very old school from now.
Back in the days it was vibrant, you know, every corner was vibrant, there was activity on every corner, whether it was good or bad, you know what I mean? There would have been, you know, the smell of the food getting caught, the smell of the aroma of weed in the air, you know, the older man them talking and, you know, taking all that knowledge in, you know, the sense of community that I don't think that we've got anymore because I think it's been diluted, hasn't it? You know, there's new people from there to there, and we're separated now, do you know what I mean? We've still got a little bit of community, but we're holding on to the little bit of what we've got in it.
Really good community, really strong community. Similar to now, but a lot more of it.
And growing up in my side was, as a youngster, it was good. You just come out, play with all your mates, play soldiers in your garden with your little plastic soldiers and all that.
You do normal things like make peg guns and go-karts and tree houses and, you know, old-fashioned things that the kids don't do these days.
Growing up was, at the beginning, was good. Good. Life was, as a little kid, football was the main thing. I was very good at it. So yeah.
But then as you start getting a bit older and you get to your 11, 12 teens, start like things start to change a little bit and people start to join little groups and start bunching together. So you have to kind of find yourself either being on your own or joining one of these groups.
Gun crime became so commonplace in Manchester that the city was given a new name by the press.
Lies a city that's been torn apart by gang violence, culminating in a brutal war spanning the last 2 decades of the 20th century.
These were violent streets where hooded gang members began wearing body armour under their tracksuits. And gang battles were fought out on hospital corridors.
So you have young people who have no other opportunity except into crime or into drugs. You have a situation where gangs form on different parts of the estate. It's only a very small minority of people that's involved in this. But it's a situation of those young people don't see any other future.
We're worried. We were worried. I am. You hear the door knock when you get frightened. Yeah, we were worried. Deeply, deeply worried. Because one time, sometimes Neville used to go away and come. Where, so we had to get the police and find out where he is. That was something common with these boys. They don't come home, your parents have to go and phone the police. They want to know what trousers he's wearing. They want to know which. Neville went and this police guy brought him back home. So I said, could you take Neville in the front room and sit down with him and give him some encouragement? You know what he said to me? Mr. Gordon, I don't know what to say because I used to be like that.
The world that my grandparents were talking about and portraying, like if you see trouble on the walk over the other side, but then what happens when the trouble sees you that your ass is gone and that you've walked onto the other side, then you're targeting them all the time, aren't you? You can't always avoid trouble, can you? So it resonated with me that, you know, the way that they were trying to bring me up, it just wasn't their beliefs for being back in Jamaica. Just weren't happening here. Do you get what I mean?
As I started to get towards the later 10, 11, 12s, kind of started taking, when I say I turned for the worse, just different. It weren't as innocent as what it started off being.
I used to go shopping, like, you know, on the weekends for my gran, and I'd go and get her, like, you know, the groceries and that. And then this person, I think they chased me and that, innit, and I just got sick of it, innit. I got sick of it, and I think the person said to me that they're going to be always doing this when they get older. They're going to be taking my cars and things like that. And I thought, you know what, you know, I'm not going through all this anymore. Do you get what I mean? I've had enough of it. And then obviously I was doing tapes for my friends, and then obviously the day it happened as well, funny enough, I had another friend that's, you know, funny enough, he's on the other side. Well, at the time we weren't even involved in all that, and he said to me, don't do it, you're going to change your whole life. And I always remember what he said to me, and it always stuck with me that as well, do you get me? But I made that choice.
When I came here and seeing angry young black youth at the same, I could connect with that straight away because I've been on my own angry effects, do you know what I mean? So it was easy for me to now start moving around with people that are moving like that on a day-to-day basis, do you understand what I'm saying? But I wouldn't have said, yeah, I'm a gang member. But then if me and you are moving to that, if me and you are moving around every day on a day-to-day basis, and then you're in a situation, I'm in a situation. You understand what it is? So that's how I just see it, as like that.
You see people from the local area with nice things, nice car, nice jewellery, you know, and when you're at that age, you're impressionable. And you look up to them people because they're older than you. You know, when you're in school, someone who's 1 year above you, you look up to them, don't you? You know? So that's how it kind of came. It was subtle. It subtly got, subconsciously into your system. So if you've got a little substance about you, you could be drawn into that type of lifestyle. It's just a lifestyle, like you said, growing up. You know, you're asking me, how was it growing up? No, that's the environment.
One of the main things is that everybody that's come out, or every single youth, regardless of colour, whatever, this and the other, when they go back to the house, and they say, right, boom, this happened today, boom, that happened today, there's some form of understanding that more than likely somebody in the household is going to have gone through that same experience and be able to say, yeah, but you know what, boom, this is going to happen. And right, for instance, if my son comes in the house now and he says, I got stopped by police, this and the other, I got draped stopped by police, boom, boom, I'm going to be able to relate to it and say, look, this is going to happen, and boom, 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 whatever, yeah? When I was going back to a white middle class house and say, yo, this is what's happened when I was outside today, nobody can relate to this because nobody's not having these experiences.
Yeah. I wanted to be accepted by them.
Looking back, I can't even recall a time of peaking. I can just recall it being continual. There was stuff happening a lot. There would have been firearms discharges, or there would have been shootings, someone would have got injured, there would have been murders. It just seemed to be a part of kind of transition from being a young person into a young adult. It was just there.
It's totally different from now. At them time, I tell you, it was really tough at them times.
Tough in what way?
In ways where there used to be more violence. I mean, people used to be more scared to come to my side. I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, they don't want to come around here because of the violence and all that, and afraid to get robbed and all that. You know what I mean? But it was more rougher at that time when I came.
I feel like we've got some sort of like I won't say we've got blood on our hands, but we've got some sort of we're one of probably the second generation of people that started, that kind of came into the gangs, and this generation now it's like.
I was born at 11 Donington Close when I was a baby, and then when I was probably about 5, my dad moved to 10 Gooch Close. So I used to look out my bedroom window and the boys were just right there beside me. So I used to just look out the window all the time, see them burn up and down in the cars, doing handbrakes and all that, getting chased by the police, laughing at them, and they just looked like they were having a good time all the time. So I always thought, do you know what, I'd like some of that, I'd like to be a part of that. I was getting in trouble a lot in school, so they give me a mentor. He brought me to some other school and started teaching me about black history and all this. So what I did is I started like distancing myself from the gang shit a little bit, nearly getting involved in that, and started just going to school, my little rucksack on, come back home. But then I started getting singled out. By a bunch of lads. These guys were like 1, 2, 3 years older than me, and there was like 5, 6 of them. And now, you know, I'm trying to get away from them. So when I look back now, I understand they were just pussies. But at the time, they kind of backed me into a corner, flipping, I was sick of getting chased around. So one day I just had enough, man, and I just went and started talking to my friends over here, where I was born. And then someone put a gun in my hand, and then the next time I seen them, they tried to chase me. I just wheeled after them, and then nothing was ever the same again.
My grandparents always had a fear of being in my side, it just lead to trouble.
And were they right?
Yeah, they were right. I don't know, my grandparents tried to tell me like when I was younger never to go to my side, innit, so they always had this, well my grandparents innit, because I grew up with my grandparents, but they always told me to never to go my side and all that, obviously probably because they see what happened to my dad and what avenue he went down, they were probably worried about me, do you get what I mean? But I didn't, like, I never came down, I had a fear of my side for like years, and then when I came down there and I just seen like there's more black people and just like you could get away with things and you could be naughty and that, then I just fell in love with it.
Like I seen things that I couldn't really like get my head around, because I'd think, in fact, that was the first time going school. I was actually going school, primary school, me and my big brother, and two other brothers, and a car pulled up, and they jumped out, and they battered him, just him on his own, not his brother, didn't even look at us, just battered the guy on the way to school. I thought, wow. That was the first properly thing where you just, the kind of kid I was anyway, like I'd analyse it like, wow, why was that? But I couldn't really ask him because he was older. I didn't even think to ask my brother at the time. It was just like, I weren't scared though, I won't lie, because as a kid growing up I had a lot of scraps, so, and that's all it was like unfair scrap, but it was a fight, just got decked by a group of lads. So yeah, that was like a kind of first ever changing of the hood.
I was drawn to it, and the music and the culture, do you know what I mean? And a lot of my friends were around there as well, so I was just drawn to it. But I hung around in a lot of different places, but most sides where I felt at home.
I did sports actually. A fact for you really, I'm an ex-pentathlete, Great Britain gold medalist. Great Britain gold medalist at 5 events. When I was in school, the teacher said, you know, you're very fit and you're very active. I think you should go and do some training in a place called Ashton-under-Lyne. It's still existing to this day. Olympic gym, yeah? Right. And I trained with the father there, Michael Clegg. So I trained for a few weeks and I entered a competition, a national competition. And to my surprise, I won it. Wow. I became gold medalist of the country. So I am actually in the archives, 1997.
How old were you in 97?
16. Amazing. Just leaving school, so it interlinks to what you're asking me, you know.
We was doing tapes and that, so obviously now we do tapes and we'd be bigging up all the guys that were like on the estate, and like I gave it to one person and they'd say, oh, make me a tape and mention my name on it and mention my name, and then everyone wanted a tape in it, so we'd make the tape and bigging them up and all that, like we was at a proper sound or like at a proper dance, but obviously it was just us making tapes in it. So that's how I got in, and obviously one of the people that I knew, I went to school with, so it was kind of easy for me to like talk to them and get in with them, do you get what I mean? And I felt on cloud nine in it, making a tape for people that, you know, that I knew were gangsters and things like that, because it was all new to me, do you get what I mean? And I thought it not as bad as people made out to be, do you get what I mean?
I didn't know anything about what people thought outside Moss Side until we started going clubbing, and it's like you were from the hood, you're from the Moss Side, you know, people knew we were the Moss Side boys, or even in jail, and went to jail when I was 17 for a few months. And it's like, that's from Moss Side, everyone's just like a little bit, that's from Moss Side, you can't really fuck with him.
Yeah, there's a phrase called guilty by association. But I was obviously guilty by association. I associated with gangs, gang members. Yeah, it was the norm, inverted commas.
I feel like we take a lot more into consideration when you reach certain ages, whereas when I look back at from 14 to the point of where I got locked up at 19, I didn't consider anything. There was very little rational thinking whatsoever on a day-to-day basis of like, oh, this could happen. I was not bothered by that point in time. I'd reached a point where I wasn't bothered, I wasn't interested.
I came out to kind of like avenge all the years of anguish and the pain and that I went through, do you get what I mean? I never forgot it. I just couldn't do nothing about it.
Was there ever a time where trouble happened in your barbershop?
Yeah, there's quite a few times. I mean, quite a few times. Man got run down in my shop. I mean, it brings trouble because at them times, guys used to be looking for guys in the shop, you know what I mean? I have to be looking over the shoulder if somebody's coming for them and all that, you know what I mean? So that's the experience, and then even though I'm not involved, but I can get caught up in it. Because if somebody comes looking for somebody, I can automatically get shot or get stabbed, or you understand? You know what I mean? So it was rough at them times, you know what I mean?
I was going to meet up with a few friends of mine, and some guy stopped me and tried to take my shine off me. So I said, what? He said, yeah, one of them I knew that was associated to the opposition, yeah, to the people who I hung about with. One thing led to another. Stood up for myself. I says, no, I'm not taking off my jewelry. What? You know, stood my ground. Next thing you know, this guy pulls out a 9mm from the back and clasped it professionally and laced one shot at me towards my leg. Hit me right here in my leg. Deflected off my femur, which is in the centre of your leg, and come out the seam of my jeans. You know, just randomly, suddenly. Now that was just me going to meet my friends. That was just. Now that there is not normal. Looking back on hindsight now. That was the first piece of trauma. That shattered my actual sports career. So when I was coming from school, like I described, and was doing good, I got shot randomly. I never even met the guy doesn't even know me. I won't mind if I knew the person, you know? It's just little things like that that could happen, that did happen.
Then my good friend, 2 years later, he got shot and killed. And then that was just like, wow. That took my head, to be fair. Because I was actually in his house waiting for him. Him and two other friends, they went to the shop. And he never came back. We used to play in this exact part, me and him and a load of others growing up. He never came back. Just the two brothers came back. Said he's been shot. By the time we've got back to the shop with his mum, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I won't forget that. I won't forget that at all for the rest of my life.
I think when there was the shooting at Malvino's, that was massive.
When did you start?
Yeah, that had a massive impact. And then obviously later on, Jesse James, because they were both very young. I remember they were, they both had a big impact.
And then that was like, again, the kind of kid I am. Well, teenager now, aren't I? But I want to know, like, why, what was, because again, I know him now. This was a friend I grew up with, I played it. It's not bad. He weren't tough or anything, he didn't get into anything, so I couldn't get my head around it.
And yeah, it was a protection thing, that's why I got involved in it.
How old were you when that happened?
Probably about 15 maybe when I got involved proper. Probably my last year of school, when I first picked up my first gun. Probably, yeah, I'd say 15, at the very latest 16.
Now, I was always taught stand up for yourself, and that's exactly what I decided to do. Fight back. By any means, lash back. I'm not going to stand there and let someone bully me or take my stuff off me or attempt to take my stuff off me, and I'm not going to do nothing.
Safe moment. The only break you'd probably get is when you're in jail, unless you go on holiday. You know what I mean?
You've been to jail?
Yeah, I've been to jail a few times. About 4 times.
So how many years did you altogether spend in jail?
Less than 10 years, not as much as some people.
Okay, so how long were you inside?
Just under 20 years. So I got locked up in the start of 97 and I got out in December 2015. It's devastating for the family, innit? It's devastating for yourself, coming to terms with it and then going through different mindsets. Again, at the time, obviously, I've maintained my innocence all the way through, so I've been an appellant, I was an appellant all the way through that sentence. But at the time, like I said, 19, I just turned 19 as well. When I went to jail, I still don't feel like I was actually rationally thinking. I was never sat there thinking, right, I'm gonna spend the next 20 years in prison or this and the other. I was just like day by day, like, well, see what happens tomorrow, and that's it. To be honest with you, as mad as it seems, that's the only way I can explain it.
And as well, being in jail, you lose things. You know what I mean? In your relationships, it's just there's a load of aspects in it. Like, you know, in your relationships, you get out of one relationship. You know what you're gonna do? Take all your stuff and take, well, that's half my couch, that's half my telly, this, that. You're not gonna do that, are you? Well, if you're a real man. You know what I mean? It's stopping and starting again.
Another major point to me that definitely scarred me is when my brother got killed. Now, when I say my brother, my mum had 6 of us. And that was my big brother who I was going to school with. That's my mum's son. But my dad, also I've got siblings through my dad, and I had an older brother. And again, he used to come to my mum's house, and he was just normal as pie, normal as day, you know. Not like my other big brother, because obviously me and him grew up, but just how I'd expect somebody to be. And then he got killed. They say it's on the day before my birthday, the 29th of April, but when you do the logistics of it and that, it was definitely after 12 o'clock, so that was the 30th of April. That's when my birthday is. So my 16th birthday, that's what I got treated to. Coming home from school thinking I'm gonna have a party. Got told that big brother's dead.
As you get to me, coming like 16, 17, 18, I was all over the place doing my thing. I was busting after these boys regular. Got shot a few times. I got shot 5 times getting in my car. I got shot in my thumb, shot in my wrist. I got stabbed in my belly, I got stabbed in my neck. And I say it sometimes, I have to ask myself, am I lucky because I'm still here, or am I unlucky because all these things have happened to me?
It's a range of emotions, isn't it? Like the first person that got my son got killed, one of a guy that I looked up to that was very well known, and it was I'm not gonna lie, I cried in it. This is the first time that like it kind of resonated with me to them. Like that's the reason why it gave me a reason for like why I'm involved then, innit? Like up until then it was just like it's kind of like a joke, not a joke to me, but you know when I lost my friend, that was it was heartbreaking, innit? Because I looked up to the guy, and it was the point of that he was just on the estate, and then when he did die, they left his body. They left his body on the street, innit? I don't know what it was for, whether it's for more forensics. It said it was for forensics or whatever, but you know, everyone could see his body out on the street. You get what I mean? Obviously his head was covered, but you know, it was in the papers and everything. You know, everyone's seen his body there, and that was like the first time that probably people seen a dead body in my side.
I'll tell you what was weird when I was I think it was, but I didn't actually change them, but it made my brain think a bit different. I was about 30 when I was coming out of my house. I was getting in my car, and some guy stepped out the passageway, and luckily I seen him. So I've rolled out the car, and he's let off all these shots through the car window, and he's hit me a few times. He's got me in the back of the knee. I've rolled out the car and got up and tried to run off, and he's got me in the back of the knee. So I fell over. I tried to get up again, and I couldn't because my knee was shattered. So I had to pretend to be dead. So I just went, oh, and like just rolled on the floor. And I just remember thinking, the motherfucker's gonna come and shoot me in the head. And yeah, I'm thinking one of these are gonna hit me. And then when it goes quiet, I'm thinking, right, it's gonna come over now and fleece me off. And all I was thinking about, besides that though, was I just pictured my kids, all my kids' faces in my head. So I got 2 older kids as well. And I was just thinking, I'm never going to see him again, man. It was weird to me. I didn't think I'd ever think like that. When it actually happened, I thought I was going to die. I just thought, I'm never going to see my kids again. And it kind of like shook me a little bit.
I was angry from that point. With who, I still didn't know, I weren't fully sure who with, but I was just angry from being that cheerful kid that played football and just wanted to play football. Now I've got an anger in me. I'm aggressive even when I'm playing football now. It's a different kind of, there's aggression on top of the skill set. And by then, obviously, after when my brother got killed, that's when that was the first killing that started off everything that's happened up to that point.
We doing our thing now. You ready? Yeah, I'd like to thank God for everybody that survived. God bless the souls that passed away. God keep your hands on me and my loved ones this year.
That was a big moment actually, yeah. I got run over, just over near the precinct. This is the spot where I got run over. Obviously sometimes I think about it and sometimes I don't think about it. Like, you know, every time I come back from the Asda and that, And like sometimes I don't remember that like, I actually got run over and then nearly got killed, you know what I mean? And I always try and think to myself what was it that day that made me think, but I think because obviously there's only two black guys, but then there's one white guy in it that probably would stand out, sort of why they could probably got onto who it was, do you get what I mean? And then the car just mounted the pavement in it, and then my friend, it managed to miss my friend, but then I got flipped up in the air, and then it crashed in it. But then some people said they jumped out of the car with a gun, and I don't know what happened, you know, because I had a very like my life flashed before me, you know what I mean? And like all the things that my granddad said to me over the years, like don't go to my side, watch yourself, I'm praying for you, this and that, like it all just like probably say 10 years of what she said just flashed before me in seconds. Then I came back to reality, and then I tried to hop across the road. I mean, I tried to get across the road, but my leg was broken in it, and I collapsed over the other side. And then I asked some woman to help me, but then she said, oh, I've got to pick the kids up, which I understand that she was scared, do you know what I mean? And she was shot. And then obviously someone picked me up and took me to the precinct, and then the ambulance coming in. That was it.
Struggle and fight for them, risking my life for them. And the story goes on. Took me by surprise, little bro, little rich, little no, didn't know, fully loaded with blow.
When I was only young when I got stabbed in the neck, so I was a bit shit in it. I thought I was going to die. I was just in a passageway over there behind Princess Road, and some guy, big guy, man, massive guy at the time. Something went on, but he's ended up dragging me down the passageway. He pulled out a pair of scissors, started going, do you know what, I could kill you now. And no one would know. And all this, yeah, God, I'll kill you now, and no one would know this. And pulled me in the neck with the knife, so I thought, I managed to wiggle out, ran off, shit it, absolutely shit it that first time.
Various times, cars shut up. People tried to assassinate me. Outside my mother's house, outside my own home in Hugh. Yeah, and that's when I realised stuff was getting real. Yeah.
A few incidents came to home, to my mum's house, and I was like, nah, and a few things that my mum seen that I didn't want her to see. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Like, from there, I made the conscious decision and said, you know what, Mum, I'm going to move out your house.
Like the gangs and the everything that comes with it, it is very powerful, isn't it? You know what I mean? It can override anything that anyone's saying, your grandparents, your parents, anyone, do you get what I mean? And I was in the thick of it.
Any of us could have ended up dead, innit? Some of us are dead. Loads of us are dead. So, you know, we always say to ourselves, you know what, bro, look, we're still here, man, innit? We're still here, yo, so.
There were good times and there was bad times, you know. When the times were good, it was good, but when the times were bad, it was bad. So I mean, like losing your friends and now I'm older and looking at it, like I see my friends and I see their kids growing up now without their dads, innit? And it's like, what was it for? What was it all for?
Problem is, you don't realise all this till you get older, and you start analysing your life. You start analysing, why am I like this? Why do I think like that? Why did I do this? And you can't work them things out until you become a big man and you've had time to sit back and analyse your whole life. And that's when you can start answering questions for yourself.
Yeah, I've gone through a lot. I'm still going through things. Yeah. You know, shout out to my children as well. They've missed a father. Yeah, all them years I was away from them, I've become a stranger now. I was there at birth, you know, spiritually I'm connected. But as time's gone by, there's distance, so I just like my kids to know that Daddy loves them. And I didn't think long term like that, you know, there'd be that massive gap. I just kind of thought, yeah, I could do my thing, retaliate, sticks and stones, go in jail, brush it off, come out, and what?
Realistically, as a big man, you just know it's nonsense. It's just a one-way ticket. And we've got families now. We've got families and kids to look after, man.
All that kind of thing has become normalised, and that kind of trauma that people experience from incidents like that had also become normalised.
There's a lot of trauma that's not even been helped, or no one's not even attempted to help in our hood. And I'm talking generation older than me to mine coming down, and it looks like history is going to repeat itself again with these kids.
It's like misled loyalties to your gang, misled loyalties to older boys who you think give a fuck about you. And no one's putting no money in your pocket, no one's sorting out, no one's going to be there for your future and your kids and all that shit.
We've got an environment where that young person doesn't feel safe and doesn't feel like anyone's out there to protect them. And currently we've got the police, but for a lot of young people, because of the trauma that communities like this have experienced at the hands of the police over decades, like the only place that they've got to go to deal with conflict and harm is in itself a source of conflict and harm.
My shop got raided by police and all that. I think once they see you as being successful as a black business, that's what, I mean, it's hard to say, but that's what I see. They can't just believe that you just work hard. They always put that image in you. You always been painted that way, that you are involved, you must be selling drugs for you to drive a nice car, wearing that type of clothes, living that lifestyle. You know what I mean? So I think I was just putting that.
My brain is overflowing, my life is full of anger. I got a temper to this life, see I am not a stranger. And I am not the one to test me cause I'm full of pain. And it ain't no turning back, I'm full of rage. You know
my advice, because I have got a few cousins that are on the borders, nephews and that. And this is what I tell them. Find something and don't fall to this.
All this bull, I'm bad, this shit, stab this guy and like stabbing people for fuck all and killing them. Just absolute nonsense. It's better that you put all that energy into try and be an entrepreneur or try and get yourself a trade, and then you know what, you'll start seeing money getting stacked and no one can take it off you. The police can't come and take your money off you. It's yours. You'll see a different life.
Yeah, I just wish I would have been a little bit more focused on what it was I wanted to do and just stayed hard-headed on that, which again, without pushing blame, I do feel that if that would have been supported to a certain degree and been relatable to a certain degree in the house, maybe that would have been the case.
A lot of men that put in a lot of work and a lot of time and sacrifice and blood and, you know, gave their lives, you know, and we've not really got nothing to show for it, you know. We've not got nothing to show, no big cars, no big chains, no this, that, do you get what I mean? Nothing, you know what I'm saying to you?
If you work hard, you can achieve what you want, you understand? And if you take the street, it's only most of the time, 99% of the time, if you go to the street and get involved, only two things can happen. You're going to die or you're going to go to prison. You know what I mean? There's probably 1 or 2% chance for you to get rich. You understand? And even if you get rich, you always have to be looking over your shoulder. Because whatever you do in the past, it can come back and affect you in the future.
So, I suggest you know, just before you look at gangs and the gang life and all this, and you think it's rewarding, just listen to these guys you probably listened to on this video, and believe us, we're all here talking to you now, saying it's not, man, it's bullshit, man.
You know what I mean? I don't want to see no more kids. There's a lot of kids getting killed. You know what I mean? And that's something that's like I don't understand why it's gone like that. You know, a lot of kids getting killed, a lot of knife crime, but obviously that's everywhere. It's not just a Moss Side thing. It's everywhere. It's a nation thing.
To be fair, the stigma of gangs and this, that and the other is not like, that's not all Moss Side is about, you understand what I'm saying? So it's not that Moss Side was bad for the for what's happening in my life. My life choices were bad, you know what I mean? It's not the Moss Side that created this situation or this, that and the other. And the other thing about that is, what I'll say is, because of where I came up, from before that, I was chilling on white working class areas like Moston, Colliers, Harper, these are all the ends where I originally was, you know what I mean? So I've seen all of these things, the same things that was going on here, right?
was going on them estates anyway. People was getting stabbed up on them estates. People have been getting stabbed and shot up in Moston from day one. You know what I mean? So it's like, this was highlighted as a gang gun because at that period of time, gun crime was not as popular as what it is. So that's all it was. It was gun crime and the fact that it was black youths and it helped fit an agenda of whatever, you know what I mean, this and the other. But I was seeing these things every day on Moston Estates, you know what I mean, and damn estates and this and the other. This isn't like, it wasn't isolated to one side.
Future. I think I came so far. I came into something that shouldn't have been the norm, and I went to the extent of it changed me. So I want to find the me, the old me, straight back and find the real me. Obviously, there's going to be some mental scars, do you get what I mean? You're never going to get back to how you are, but I think I'm a lot more functional than a lot of man, do you get what I mean? And I think that's down to, I've never really done anything bad to people in the hood. I can go around now, go anywhere I want, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that have done bad in the hood that can't come back to the hood, and we shouldn't have them in the hood either.
The future holds, like I said, stability, time, stability. I currently work on, this is my company, my brand now. LG Scooter Repairs, you know, I get lots of calls, yeah. It's an invention. I've sat down and thought laterally, outside the box, and thought, what could I do to put back, you know? What could I do to put back? I visit homes, people welcome to visit my home. I'm an open book, you know. I fix things, you know, provide a service, a public service. So I'm here for the public now.
Done with the moaning about no progress, trust in the process. Making stable, everyone's eating. But I can't get no plate. Madness, been here the longest.
Yeah, so I do music, G-Rock, so it's on Spotify, YouTube, all of that. So yeah, just trying to push that at the moment. We've got an EP coming out, Life and Rhymes of an Unruly Child. So just waiting for that, yeah, trying to get the artwork finished for that, and get that out.
But as for me, I'll always have a love for the hood. I always come and see my dad twice a week. I love the hood. I'll never forget the hood. It's a part of me. But it's time to before it's too fucking late. It's time to do something different. It's time to grab life by the balls, man.
That sort of pain and that sort of trauma that people in communities like my side have experienced over years and years, it's now seen as part of our culture. And to this day, here we are in 2022, we can go like 40 years later, 35, 40 years later, and there's still nothing in place to heal from that trauma. So what we've got generations of people in our community that have experienced really high level, I'm not even saying post-traumatic stress disorder because it's constant, so it's perpetual traumatic stress disorder, and are living with that. And trauma isn't really something that lives in your mind, it lives in your body. So like for me, on a pretty much daily basis, I'll experience that trauma in my body from just driving past the car park where Sherry got killed a couple of years ago, driving past there, which I have to do pretty much every day. And every time I drive, it can be on my conscience as I'm coming towards it some days, but a lot of days it's not. And then as soon as I get there, it's like someone's punched me in the stomach.
Like, you know, with all the negative stuff in my side, there's a lot of positive. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things happening in my side that people don't even know about. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know that what's the place? Rastafarian Centre. They do like meals for people, you know what I mean, and cook for people. There's all kinds of things going on there if you scratch beneath the surface. You know what I mean?
On my own thing, just however I'm inclined. Find my head up in the clouds at times, I'm searching for a spot. I probably joked a couple lines before, but this time now I'm not. How can I be at the bottom when all my rhymes are at the top? For the longest I've been growing this some different kind of crop. Call it fate that made this story have some different kind of plot. Call it poker, move with patience, wait and see what's on the flop. Hardly ever post locations, cause to me that shit's just hot. In fact, I'll probably post a place and send you somewhere that I'm not.
You see it's cold outside, but despite the rain, the roadside stays hot all day. I thought I was living the life I love, loving the game took my heart away.
I don't think the era can change. If you want to change, you can change. You've got a heart inside here. It beats up. When it stops beating, you're dead. You know good from bad. Every one of us. It doesn't matter what nationality we are. We know good from bad. And if you try to do the good, you're bound to succeed somewhere or the other.